Welcome back to the Starting Four podcast. This is episode 8, week 5 college picks, and week 4 storylines from college. I'm Tabor.
I'm Thomas. First storyline for week 4. Dabo needs to be fired. I think it's getting out of hand at this point. Losing the Syracuse. I he doesn't use the transfer portal, and that's a huge thing nowadays. And it's like he needs to, and coaching's not that good, it looks like. They're not using Cade to the best of his abilities. They have top D line for the NFL, and they're not producing. So I think he needs to be fired, just like Mike Gundy. I get why he isn't because he's been a legend head coach for that Clemson team. I feel like they'll keep him until maybe next year if he doesn't do good.
It's hard to fire a guy that just made the playoffs last year and
Mm.
who's been there and pretty much built the team to what we're used to it seeing. Like he's not going to get fired, obviously. I'm pulling for him to get fired just because I haven't been a fan of him, even though he's been a successful coach. Um, yeah, so this season's completely done for them.
Yes, then
Um,
there's no chance.
And if this is a repeat if he doesn't use the portal again, I think he needs to be fired before the season starts. But at some point, also the Clemson AD needs to step in and tell him you've got to start using that portal because
Mhm.
look what all these other teams are doing. Like at the end of the day, his higher ups need to tell him what he needs to start doing if he wants to have a job.
Oh, definitely. It's unacceptable not using the portal nowadays. And I think they maybe only had one portal edition last year. Um, I don't even think he uses them. So next we got Miami winning against Florida, but they do look stoppable. Carson Beck looked like he came back down to earth and looked like the Carson Beck we knew, not throwing that much. And then their offense wasn't as good. I know Florida's defenses look great. Um, and Miami held their offense to no yards. It feels like Lagway's not looking good, but Miami does look beatable. I still see them as probably an ACC contender, an ACC championship team. But after this game, I definitely see them losing at least one in the ACC before the playoffs, if anything.
Yeah, they look beatable, but this is also a rivalry game. Like you kind of expect it to be closer. I mean, on any given year, Michigan and Ohio State, it's going to be a 50-50 game for that. I mean, we saw Ohio State play their worst game last year against Michigan, gets
Mhm.
beat, and then becomes the best team in the next 4 weeks. Like by far, unanimous best team in the country the next 4 weeks. So I don't think I'm not expecting a turnaround for Miami like that, but I'm not taking it as worrisome as it could be taken.
Yeah. Next storyline, we got Indiana boat racing Illinois. We both chose Illinois in our pick'ems last week. That pick did not look good. It was a brutal game. Fernando Mendoza looked excellent. It's moved up in the Heisman race and probably is the number one contender now that John Mateer is injured for a couple of weeks. So Indiana's looking good. Indiana's coach is finally backing it up, saying they can actually beat top teams and not just beat the lower teams last year to make the playoffs. So, do you see them as a Big Ten contender? I know they have Oregon and Penn State on their schedule still left, but
I just don't put them at that level yet. I truly think um, Illinois should have never been ranked that high. I get they had a great season last year, but they hadn't done really anything to warrant a top 10 ranking. So, can they be a contender? Yes. Do I think they're going to win it or be in the championship game? No. But I guess for right now, you have to consider them a contender.
I know their next couple of weeks, I know they have Oregon 2 weeks. Oregon will be coming off of a bye week, so Oregon will have 2 weeks to prepare. And then they have Penn State following the Oregon game. So it's going to be a tough road, but they can
Yeah.
win.
You can go 1-1 against those two. You have a chance.
Definitely, definitely. Next, Oklahoma survives the close game against Auburn, but John Mateer gets hurt in that game and is sidelined for at least a couple weeks. I think I've heard he will be back for the OU Texas game, so much needed game for them, but we'll see about that. Um, they looked all right. I see Auburn as a pretty good team this year. They looked excellent the first couple of weeks. So I'm not taking that close game as a big deal for OU not winning it bigger. But with OU sidelined with their starting QB, it might be a little scary the next couple of weeks, but we'll see about that. I think OU still has a good chance to run the SEC. I know they're at the end of the year, they do run into a buzzsaw of a schedule, but we'll see how that happens and plays out.
There's not many games, like you can obviously complain about refs, but there's not many games where you can blatantly say the refs sold you a game. The storyline should be Auburn upsets Oklahoma. There's no a missed defensive pass interference that would have probably been a touchdown. Can't guarantee it, but it was going to probably be a touchdown. And then OU's touchdown that pretty much sealed the game. I
Definitely.
mean, you're running a play that's simply illegal.
Yeah, definitely. That
So those are
that
two that's a
PI,
14-point swing right there
definitely.
this game.
And
So I mean, they looked good. Uh, both teams looked, I mean, Oklahoma, I would say, looked not as good as they have been these last couple weeks. They
mm,
looked like they kind of came down to earth. Auburn looks very solid. And with Mateer being out, it could be they have to win at least. They can't drop all the games that he's out. You're gonna have to win. If he's out 3 weeks, you got to win 2 games.
definitely. Next, Texas Tech looks like a real playoff contender with the blowout win against Utah at Utah. And Brandon Morton didn't even really play as well and got hurt. And Hammond, I'm pretty sure is how you say it. He came in freshman. After the first drive, he looked excellent, killed it for Texas Tech. They have two QBs that can sling it. We'll see how the Big 12 turns out because Big 12 is always that you can lose any given day no matter what team you face. So we'll see how that happens. But Tech looks like a real contender and can win the Big 12 championship. How do you feel? I know you're a Tech
Yeah,
fan, so
I definitely agree, but I also know to keep my hopes low with this team. You know, we still have a ranked BYU. Um, and we also are going to have to go to Arizona State and play on the road, which I know they haven't been great, but like you said, every Big 12 game essentially is a ranked game for Big 12 teams because every team, for whatever reason, matches up well against every team. Um, that being said, I think we have the best defense in the Big 12. We might have the best defense in Texas. I mean, UT's very solid defense, but just those two, I think, are top. Our offense looks very solid. I think right up there with A&M's offense. So we're talking about two top 10 teams comparing both sides of the ball with Texas Tech. So definitely think we could see something with that team. I mean, I actually would really like to see us start Will Hammond. That would cause a lot of QB controversy and just team controversy. So I don't see it happening. I definitely think Barron's leash has been shortened. And I think Will Hammond is probably getting more of an expanded playbook in practice now after seeing what he did with what they were letting him run.
no, definitely. Okay, last storyline is freshman Bryce Underwood beats year three Matt Rule. Year three Matt Rule has always been a conference champion, usually with his college teams, but Bryce Underwood looks great. It was much closer than it probably should have been. The Hail Mary at halftime for Nebraska was pretty clutch on them to keep it in them, but Bryce Underwood looked great. I think that sets up Michigan to have a chance of contending for a Big Ten championship, and they look better, even better than last year. And with that being said, I feel like Michigan could be the favorites to beat Ohio State at the end of the year, just how that every game's turned out the last 4 or 5 years. So we'll see about that. How do you feel about Michigan and where does Nebraska go from here?
Um, at home it's a tough loss. Uh, Only losing by three, even though you said you get that play that really shouldn't happen before the half. You just have to at this point. I don't know. I've pulled up their schedule. I mean, your next hard. I mean, their only ranked game left on the schedule is Penn State on the road. Um, you got to essentially win out.
Mhm.
And I guess they have USC too, who is an very up and coming all of a sudden. But yeah, you have Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, and Northwestern. So those are four must wins, and then you just try to get done. As for Michigan, they've proved me wrong. I didn't think they were going to be good at all this year, and they've seemed to really catch a stride. And Bryce Underwood has played some pretty solid football. So I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, now to the fun part, the week 5 college picks. Tabor's sitting at 16 and 10 on the year, 4 and 2 last week. I'm sitting at 12 and 14 with being 4 and 2 last week. First game is college game day and the game of the week for me, and I'm excited. I can't wait to watch. Number 6 Oregon versus number 3 Penn State in Happy Valley, whiteout at 6:30 Central Time. It's going to be an electric one. Going to Oregon, I'm rooting for the Ducks. It's kind of a little biased. I think it's going to be a close game, and I can see it going either way. But with that being said, I think the Ducks have a really good chance of winning, and I'm going to choose Ducks just for the bias sake. But Penn State hasn't really looked good, or Drew Aller hasn't looked good in his first 3 games against cupcake teams, and he's struggled. He's only posted a 250 passing yards in like one game, and that was like a year and a half ago against USC. I think the only way Penn State wins this game is if they really rely on the running game because Oregon's run defense has looked pretty bad these first couple of games, and that's their flaw in the defense. So Penn State can run on Oregon and keep the ball as much as they can. I think Penn State wins it, but Oregon's offense is super electric. Their pass defense is pretty good. I just it's hard to defend Decory Moore, Kenyon Sadiq, and then 7 running backs that all can gash you or do different things. So I'm picking Oregon to win in the whiteout and start the narrative. James Franklin can't beat Oregon um, in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with Oregon. Just as high powered as that offense has looked, um, I don't know if there's. I mean, it's kind of reminded me of last year. It's like this team looks very, very good,
And I think
and you just
it's a better QB.
gotta hope you don't get a bad draw again. But
Yeah.
honestly, you could argue that this team is playing like the best team in the country, and I don't even hate that argument.
I would love to say that. I think to be the best team, I think you have to be really good at both or like every aspect of the game. And I just feel like their run defense is just not good enough and could really hurt because last Big Ten championship game, they ran for 250 yards against Oregon. So to be the best team, I think they need to fix the run defense. But if they do that, yeah, they could be the best team and just hopefully they don't do one bad game and lose it.
And I also liked your point. Drew has looked very mid, not an impressive season, and he hasn't had impressive opponents to be going against. So I think that's a big concern out of Penn State. Being three, I don't think they're the third best team in the country. They definitely don't look like the third best team in the country. I think Oregon should be ranked higher than them. But yeah, I like Oregon.
Yeah. Next is number 21 USC versus number 23 Illinois. USC is riding a hot streak coming in, winning games, blowouts against Cupcakes. Illinois is coming off a brutal loss against Indiana last week. I want Illinois to win. I just feel like USC's look really good, and it's hard to not take their team. Their Jaden Mayava looks great. Their run game looks great, and that opens up their electric pass game. Wide receivers look excellent. So with that being said, I'm taking USC against Illinois this week. So
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for Illinois coming off just getting bounced. Um, Jordan Mailata, like you said, I think he needs to be talked about as Heisman. I saw a post yesterday. He essentially has the same, if not better, numbers than Caleb Williams for his first 4 weeks when he won the Heisman. And everyone talked about Caleb. Oh, accidentally muted. Everyone talked about Caleb that year like he was the greatest thing to ever step on a football field. Um, yeah, so I like USC and then essentially ends Illinois season.
yeah, definitely. Next, we got number one Ohio State versus Washington. It's in Washington. They're running a 22 or something home win streak. Washington looks really good. They have dynamic players on the offense with Damon Williams, QB, Jonah Coleman at running back, and Denzel Boston at wide receiver. Three guys that can really do damage to any team faced. A lot of people like the upset here with Washington, but I think Ohio State's a good team. They will go in, hopefully in that home win streak. As an Oregon fan, I don't want Washington to do anything. So I'm picking Ohio State in this one, not fall into the upset.
Yeah, this is the first time that Ohio State is making their trip to Washington in almost 2 decades. Yeah, Washington is on a 22 game home winning streak. There's been way too much talk about that. That's all I've been hearing. That sounds like a jinx to me. Yes, I'm also taking Ohio State. That's my only. I just there's too much smoke and hype around this home winning streak that I've been hearing about.
Yeah. And they haven't played any really competitors this year to really show that they can do it. Like, yeah, Jonah Coleman has the most rushing yards. It's like he hasn't played anyone, so it's not surprising.
Mm.
So next we got number four LSU versus number 13 Ole Miss. Uh, Lane Kiffin's daughter dating the linebacker for LSU. It's pretty funny how it just launched this week with them playing each other. Feel like Lane maybe advised it to happen, but LSU looks good. Ole Miss is starting their backup QB that's played the last two games and it's looked great. Trinidad Chambliss coming from D2, I'm pretty sure. So he's looked great. I can see an upset brewing here with Ole Miss winning. I just think Ole Miss's defense is, or LSU's defense is really good. He will keep Trinidad in check, and LSU just needs to put up, I don't want to say 17, 21 points, and they will win this game. Ole Miss defense is not as good as they should be. So I got LSU winning this.
I like the upset. All these boys on Lane Kiffin's team have to be playing with a chip on their shoulder this week, knowing that his daughter is dating one of the LSU linebackers. So I really like Ole Miss in this game. I think it's a little more personal with all that coming out, and obviously Lane knows who his daughter's dating. It's not like it's a surprise. It just happens to go public this week. That was definitely he asked for that.
Oh,
He
definitely.
he wanted that. He likes the noise. That whatever noise, good or bad, he enjoys it. But yeah, it's gonna be the first game I disagree with you on. I want Ole Miss. I'd like to see Ole Miss win. And you're asking for 17 to 21 points, and I don't know if LSU can give you 17 to 21.
We'll see. We'll see. I've been riding an Ole Miss this year. I think they're an underrated team. But I just LSU's defense is so good.
I completely.
So we'll see. Next, everybody thought it was gonna be college game day, and I'm glad it's not because it's a good game, but like it's a
Not
three
really.
versus six. So
Really
number
not.
17, Alabama versus number five, Georgia. With that being said, I think Georgia's going to win. Defense looked good. Offenses look actually pretty good. Like they put up a lot of points against Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton looked like he can put up points. Alabama's looked great the last couple weeks after Florida State. Ty Simpson's throwing the ball well. Ryan Williams has actually done something, not not done anything like stupid. So with that being said, I'm taking Georgia. I think they're Georgia and it's at Athens. So
Yeah, I agree. In Athens, it's just Georgia football. I think they're easily the better team, even though Alabama has looked a lot better. You just at this point you can't bet against Georgia ever. I know they didn't perform to their standard last year, but you still just can't bet against that team. And that also being said, Alabama has a tough remaining schedule. I don't know if you've seen it.
no,
Vanderbilt in you got Vanderbilt. It's at home, but 18 Vanderbilt,
yeah.
20 Missouri on the road, 15 Tennessee at home, South Carolina on the road, LSU, OU, and then Eastern Illinois and then Auburn. So Bama has a pretty
It's a hefty. If they lose here, it's going to be an uphill battle for
yeah.
SEC championship and even playoffs. So
Yeah, I like Georgia.
yeah. And next we got one of the upset favorites. Everybody taking Auburn versus number 9 A&M in College Station. Um, I want to pick. I feel like it should be A&M at home, but give me Jackson Arnold to go into College Station and run it up. Texas A&M hasn't lost this year. Where's the four losses coming? We need to know where the four
Coming.
losses, and I
This is
think this could
important.
be one of them. So I'm taking Auburn, to upset A&M.
Yeah, Auburn's winning this. Auburn's winning this game. This is a typical Texas A&M trap game. Um, I originally thought it was an Auburn, and I thought it was gonna be at home for Auburn. I thought that was a no-brainer that they were gonna win that game. Comes to find out, it's in College Station. Makes it even more of a reason that A&M is going to lose. They talk about how great Kyle Field is, but tend to lose big games there. So,
It's
or not even big games. They tend to lose small games there that they shouldn't lose.
and they talk how loud it is, but most of it's pumped in sound,
Yeah.
um, and all that. So it's not even fans. So yeah, both Auburn, not surprised. Big upset pick this year, a week, I feel like. Next is number 15, Tennessee, traveling to Mississippi State and taking on the undefeated Mississippi State in Starkville. This game, you would think wouldn't be as good, but that atmosphere in Mississippi State with the
Those
cowbells,
cowbells.
I think the cowbells are too like
That
unfair.
it should be illegal. I don't know how it's
It
not. Hey, if
it's
they're gonna
not
ban
it
tortillas, ban cowbells.
yeah, it should be it shouldn't be allowed. Making cowbells allowed, it gives them an advantage every time. You just seen they took off Arizona State this earlier in the year. With that being said though, I think Tennessee is better than Arizona State. So I'm taking Tennessee. Joey Aguilar is looking great. Um, and I just feel like Tennessee's offense is too good for Mississippi State, and their defense will hold Mississippi State. Um, so I'm taking Tennessee to win in Starkville.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Tough environment, one of those teams that seems to upset. At least they like to upset A&M a lot during the year. They like to give A&M a good game every year. That's A&M. Tennessee's better than A&M, even though they have a loss to Georgia. Really should have won that game, and I think Tennessee rolls them. I don't think it's going to be that close of a game.
Okay, last on the slate, we got Arizona versus number 14, Iowa State, both undefeated. Noah Fafita's looked decent this year for Arizona. And then Rocco Beck, they keep on cruising teams. With that being said, I think Iowa State's gonna win. I like Arizona, but I think Iowa State's just a better team, and it's at home. So I feel like Iowa State's gonna win against Arizona.
Yeah, honestly, haven't watched too much of either team. Uh, Granted, they're both in the Big 12. I probably should care a little bit more about what they're doing. I don't. And you know, No McMillan anymore. That I just even though they're undefeated, that team, I'm not buying into the undefeated making like I like Iowa State. They're a better team, I believe. They're playing at home, so give me Iowa State.
Okay, we got our picks done. With that being said, thanks for watching our episode 8 of the Starting Point podcast. Um, and see you guys later.
Thanks for watching. See you guys.